Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. We are just a little bit late. That's my apologies there. I had just a little bit of a problem trying to get the stream started tonight, but we are good to go for Wednesday night team fight. If you know me, I am Stamos Lids. We are without our friend Threepio this evening as we adventure into the land of Dota, but we're not going to care. We're going to continue on and watch some hopefully amazing games tonight, or at least an amazing game. I don't know how many we'll be able to do, but we will definitely check it out. I hope everybody has had a fantastic day thus far today, and that everything is just going swimmingly for you. I know it has been for me. Today's been a pretty darn good day, and I happen to really enjoy Wednesdays as we pop in, check out some team games, and watch some players who are most definitely working together to play Dota and get the job done, so to speak. So we'll go ahead and see if I can find one here that's in a pre-game state. This one looks like it may be a good one, so I'll go ahead and pop in there. Just a couple of announcements real fast. I kind of announced these yesterday as well. We've been trying to get the word out on this. A couple of tournaments that are coming your way. July 7th, I believe, we've got the Dotoronto going on, which is a giant tournament based in Toronto, Canada, for Dota players. So definitely want to check that out. Not sure if they're planning on having tickets actually on sale or not, but I'm sure there's going to be some streams available that you can go and check out those people playing. And hopefully we'll have some really strong team play from different teams in the Toronto-based area. And that is a prize tournament, so there's going to be some pretty good money and payouts there for anybody involved. On top of that, we also have the Canada Cup, which is coming up in just a couple of days. Canada Cup, of course, you can purchase tickets right now for 99 cents on the Dota 2 store. If you log in, you'll see that you can just buy that ticket outright. And that promises to be a lot of games. I believe there's 16 different teams in this tournament. It's lasting about 15 days, so you're going to get a lot of Dota for a very low price. Definitely suggest that you check that out. So, looks as if the game here has, yeah, this is perfect. We got in here in just perfect time. They're at the first pick phase. A couple bans out already. We've got Nix already banned from the Dire side, as well as a Darkseer. Batrider, you see him being banned a lot, of course, in the more team-like games, as well as Wisp being banned. First choice is out, Lone Druid, probably for that strong solo lane. He'll be going bottom, I'm guessing, for that strong solo lane. Other picks that are out, we've got a Lifestealer chosen already and a Shadow Demon for the Radiant side. That's for Troll R winning. So, Troll R winning, TAW. And it looks as if they've got the full TAW crew in there, with the exception of Travis. The other side, the Dire side, we've got Slammin' Salmon, which really is a fantastic name. I enjoy Slammin' Salmon, and I really hope that they get an avatar image soon, because frankly I think that's what really makes these team games fun. Strong support choice by the Dire side with the Treant Protector, one of my favorite support heroes in this game. If you ever play a team game or have a friend that loves playing support, highly suggest they check out Treant Protector. He's just an amazing hero. I played a game with him actually just a couple days ago. A friend of mine named Jeff was playing. His username is literally the Jeff Wade or something like that. But anyway, Jeff was playing Treant Protector. We did not lose a single tower. They were all completely healed because he's able to actually heal up and regenerate towers. It's really cool. So definitely check him out. His living armor ability, he can cast that just about anywhere on the map. So very cool support, and one of the more unique heroes I think that Dota has to offer. Alchemist ban, as well as a Gyrocopter ban from Troll R winning. Gyrocopter and Alchemist, both very strong carries in this game. Alchemist especially. I mean, you give him those speed boosts, give him a Shadow Blade as well as a Mjolnir, and he will just go to town once his ultimate is up. I usually finish that off with a Cranium Basher if you're looking for an interesting Alch build, and a Hand of Midas as well, so you can get that farm. Leshrac being banned up top. Looks like they're going for a very strong, more caster-based ban, trying to get rid of some of those strong cast types. Always an interesting choice. You know, you wonder sometimes when you see these team games if they know who they're going against or if it's more just a random play. So, not sure if they know maybe that Troll or Winning are strong with certain casters. Shadow Demon, of course, if you have ever seen him being played in some of these team games, he's a really, really powerful support player because of his ability to put people into that black hole. The disruption is what it's called. Essentially, he puts them into a CC that allows for his friends to come up on them and just slam them with whatever spells or whatever else they have available. Centaur, very powerful combination. You'll also see Kunkas sometimes matched with a Shadow Demon. Lion is chosen for the Radiant side. There's that strong caster. They got rid of the Lena, but they still managed to get a Death Touch out and a stun with Lion. Probably a better stun too. Lena's stun can be hard to land at times. Bane chosen for the Dire side. Bane is another one of those casters that I think is a really, really fun character to play. Very, very cool character. His ultimate is incredibly powerful, but man, Bane can die really fast if you're not careful with him. So we'll see how aggressive this Bane is going to be. He's got really strong CC abilities. His ultimate able to hold a person in place for a significant amount of time. So pretty interesting choices thus far.
5 seconds remaining.
You've got the strong carry chosen first on both sides, you've got the support chosen next on both sides, and then you've got that strong caster type character with a CC Hex or a CC in chains. What is that called again? Nightmare, yeah, puts him into the Nightmare. Puck chosen on the Radiant side, with a nasty, nasty silence ability, of course, and an ultimate that forces players to fight within the bounds of that ulti. If they walk outside of a certain range, they get stunned and take a significant amount of damage. Puck also able to silence. Dragon Knight chosen, very tanky character. I really enjoy Dragon Knight. I personally don't see him picked too much in more team style or professional matches. I think that he's a really, really powerful hero, but he's definitely one that plays to the beat of his own drum. I think that he's a slower type of powerful character. He builds much differently, I think, than other folks. Of course, he may just be out there to tank. His Dragon Armor, Dragon Blood ability, man, just makes him a tanky beast, man.
10 seconds remaining.
I kind of level Dragon Knight differently than a lot of people. I usually max out Dragon Blood first. I get 1 point into his Dragon Tail stun, and then I'll get the Breathe Fire ability and try to max that out afterward. So by level 10 I have Breathe Fire maxed. But I feel like having Sustain on him and then waiting for the team to overextend in a foolish way, getting that Dragon Tail off, tends to be one of the best ways to get kills with him. He does a surprising amount of melee damage early in the game, so it can be a lot of fun. Anti-Mage banned from Troll or Winning. Second ban coming out now, the final ban I should say, by Slam and Salmon. And overall we've got a fairly strong team in terms of both sides for carries and support. So it'll be interesting to see what these last two choices are. I'm going to guess down bottom they're going to have to choose kind of another carry type character, somebody who's going to possibly be ranged. They may also choose a strength. They don't really have any strength based besides Lifestealer. No agility based really either. A lot of intelligence heroes right here. Kind of weaker characters that can be picked off fairly easily if there's an assassin type chosen. And they banned Clockwork here. I think they're kind of thinking the same thing I am, in that they're probably going to choose maybe a more strength-based hero here. We'll see. Lifestealer's pretty tanky if he wants to be. And another intelligence-based hero. So these four heroes right here, lots of weak going on here. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that they can't actually get some nasty kills out. They certainly can, especially if if Slam and Salmon isn't paying attention or gets himself caught. You've got three forms of CC here as well. You've got Shadow Demon, of course, popping out his Disruption ability. You've got a Hex and a Stun on Lion, and then you've got Shadow Spirit popping out that electric vortex, and of course
Five
his overload
seconds
ability is
remaining.
nasty. I mean, this thing, the slow on this, just can really mess a player up.
Reserve time.
So they do have a significant amount of crowd control where they can just kind of shut players down. That being said, Treant Protector, his ultimate, the overgrowth ability, does put players into a really nasty position if they get caught by it, unable to really get away or do anything. Bane also has his own forms of CC, crowd control that is, with his Nightmare as well as his ultimate, dealing a ton of damage and keeping a person in a position for pretty much the optimal death scenario. Dragon Knight having a stun, of course, it can be a ranged stun if he goes into dragon form.
Remaining.
So we
5
also
seconds.
see different forms, but a lot of crowd control up here as well.
Radiant team
And the final choice is Slardar.
pick.
And we're about to pop in. They're choosing who's going to play who. Slardar, an interesting choice in my opinion for this. Possibly going for, because of his ultimate, but his ultimate doesn't really. So it counters everybody because it obviously reduces armor, but it doesn't really hard counter anybody like Ricky or somebody who can go invisible. On top of that, one thing I do want to point out is that Puck and Storm Spirit both are great at getting away from nasty situations, nasty altercations. They both have kind of the ability to get away from those very quickly with almost a
10
blink type
seconds
thing.
remaining.
Illusory Orb, of course, Puck can transfer himself into that orb, getting himself
5
out of a fight,
seconds remaining.
and Storm Spirit with his ultimate able to pop out once he hits level 6, jumping into that ball lightning. And the fight has begun. A pause is out already. Looks as if Slardar needs to kind of reset. So we have a lot of strength-based heroes up here. A lot of characters that do a ton of damage early on and able to be more tanky towards the end of the game. And I think that that may have been what they were going for. I think that you're going to find that if they're able to actually get some farm and get some gold early on, it's going to be really difficult for the Radiant team to get kills on them just because of the sheer amount of hit points that these guys have. That also gets converted into damage. I think that the only Lone Druid's the only agility-based character that they have. I don't know what Shireen is. Is he? Yeah, he's strength primary attribute. So intelligence, the only intelligence hero they have would be Bane. As opposed to the Radiant side down here, they have 3 intelligence-based heroes. And the big thing here to remember is just what that means in terms of how they're building their items. They have no agility-based heroes either, so nobody who'd really kind of will get super fast attack speed or anything like that. It's almost all spell-based damage with the exception of Lifestealer. So a couple BKBs, for instance, on the Dire side, and the game has turned quite quickly in their favor. So we'll see if they're able to get that farm that's necessary and put themselves into that position. In the meantime, I had a fairly hilarious match today. I played right after I got off of work, came home, and lately I've been playing Huskar, who, if you don't know, Huskar was changed a little bit with this last patch, and his spears, the flame spears that he throws, are actually incredibly powerful now. They do a ton of damage to the enemy team on how they tick. And what's a really fun combination for him, especially in pubby matches where you have players who don't necessarily know some of the items yet, they don't know how to respond to them, getting the Ghost Scepter on him really early. So I typically go for his power treads first, just so I have kind of that additional attack speed, as well as the movement speed, of course, and the increased hit points that it gives me. And then after that, I just immediately pick up the Ghost Scepter. I rush to it. I try to get as much farm as possible so that I can pick that up. And what's awesome is he can actually use his spears now while within that Ghost Scepter. So what'll happen is, in this one particular match, it was an all carry match. I mean, everybody chose a carry. I had random a character, which is what I tend to do in public matches. I don't really choose in all pick matches at all. And I randomed a character who was going to die I think it was Quap actually. I ran to Queen of Pain and they had a Spirit Breaker, and it was not going to be a good game for me. I can tell that right off the bat. If they had any sort of intelligence in terms of what they were going for, Quap was going to be dead quite often. And I'm not a very strong Quap, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go Huskar. I'm 9-1 with this Ghost Scepter build thus far, and it worked out. Let me tell you, it was a ton of fun. Over here, we've got a smoke gang going on by the Radiant team. They're coming in
30
right now. They've
seconds to go.
caught Bane. Bane's in a lot of trouble. Slardar as well. Looks like Bane was caught actually out by the Shadow Demon there, and Bane taking a ton of damage and dropping due to the Illusory Orb and just a sheer amount of range damage by the Radiant team. So very early on, a fantastic smoke gank going on by the Radiant team, able to pop in. Shadow Demon, of course, I told you that disruption is just absolutely nasty. Able to catch players, and there's just not much you can do. That's why Kunkka and Centaur are really, really good combinations for a Shadow Demon lane. If you're ever playing in a public match and somebody random Shadow Demon and they're slightly upset, don't worry. Go Centaur, go Kunkka, and time those stun abilities based off of when somebody comes out of that disruption. You will destroy your lanes, destroy them. So, looks as if we've got possibly a tri-lane. I don't know what Bane's really doing over here, possibly just putting up, maybe just warding and kind of getting ready for the fight. We do up top have a tri-lane by the Radiant side. Shadow Demon off in the jungle, wandering around, seeing if he can find people. And Lion up here with Lifestealer, and the goal here will be to get Lifestealer lots of farm. Slardar now in a lot of trouble here, taking tons of damage, pops out his own stun, crushes the ground, taking an open wounds right now from the Lifestealer, and able to just barely get away from this barrage from the Radiant team. And this is what you're going to see here in this tri-lane. You're going to see a lot of disruptions being kicked out, and that disruption is going to put the player in a really awkward position where they're taking a ton of damage. Then you're just going to see Lifestealer and Lion continue to barrage and hammer on whatever player that is. Down bottom we've got Puck going up against the Lone Druid. Lone Druid probably has a little bit more of an advantage in this particular lane. Now he doesn't have the well, no, he's got a base ranged attack at first. I don't know what I'm talking about. So they've got a nice little kind of a ranged battle going on. On top of that, he's got the extra damage from his bear to help him secure some of those early kills. I am about to sneeze. I apologize. It's going to come, and I cannot help it when it does. So just be ready for that. And it went away. We're good. Sneeze averted for now. Dragon Knight, interesting choice for mid. Probably just trying to get him some early farm. When he gets up to level 6, of course, he'll be able to turn into a ranged hero, giving him a lot of power. Lion now in a little bit of trouble here. Disruption out on Bane. He's able to kind of escape in time. But Lion now being targeted by Slardar here. The Radiant team has being pushed back significantly, and they're in a little bit of difficulty, or a little bit of trouble here. But all of them do manage to get away. Just not enough CC, not enough crowd control right now for the Dire team to put them into an awkward, dangerous position. I'm going to imagine that this may be a fairly difficult or annoying lane, at least for Dragon Knight. He did pick up his breath to level 2. Again, that's not something that I personally would do. I'm guessing at level 5 we'll see him pick it up to level 3 as well. I don't do it because I find that he runs out of mana really fast, and Breathing Fire, yeah, it gets you a couple of kills, but you can pick up a Quelling Blade, always a good choice for a melee character, and still get lots and lots of early game kills with him. He does a significant amount of damage early on, so I've never really found that a problem outside of getting a Quelling Blade, which I personally think almost every melee should get if they're going to get some farm. And if you're in mid, you know you're going to get some farm. It's just going to be there. So fight going on down below here, nothing too significant, just kind of pushing back and forth. I think his top lane is where the game's going to be decided. We'll we'll see. Somebody's going to make a mistake at some point, overextend or not expect a spell cast. I could see Bane being caught inside of a disruption and just slammed if not careful. Dragon Knight doing a really good job of making sure he's grabbing those runes. Able to hang against a Storm Spirit. That's pretty tough, I think, for a melee character to be able to do that. Take a look here. Shadow Demon. I really don't know what he's purchased thus far. He does have some tangos. He's got a little bit of gold. I don't know what he's saving for, but he didn't pick up anything to give him more hit points. No GG branches, no tiara. We do have a creep pull over here. Lion's able to secure a couple of those kills in some of the creeps. Trying to pull that lane, preventing the Radiant team from getting that experience. And this may force a fight here. We'll see. It looks as if they're getting ready. The Nightmare out on Lion. Lion now taking a ton of damage once again by Slardar, who is just targeting him entirely here. Sprint out on Slardar, and Lion will drop to the melee attacks of Slardar. Likewise, Treant dropping as well to the melee attacks of Lifestealer, as well as a conversion. We may see a Shadow Demon drop here as well. Indeed we do. Taking a lot of damage there to Slardar, and a little bit to some of the range damage from Bane. Bane did something here that I really like to see on a character, and that's that he's picked up one of each of his tree. You know, the enfeeble ability, a lot of players don't necessarily get that early on, but that reduction in physical damage is huge, especially on a character like Lifestealer. Placing that on him puts him into a position where he's just not able to do a lot of damage, and you know, that's just a great thing to do. And that's, you know, Slardar now is able to get a little bit of farm there, more so than probably he's able to do in getting creep kills. Speaking of creep kills, let's just go ahead and take a look real fast. Looks as if Radiant does have an advantage. We'll probably see this in the gold graph as well. But definitely an advantage, as they have 3 players almost nearing 20, as opposed to the 2 players that we have on the Dire side. Dragon Knight now getting into position here, trying to maybe get a sneaky kill out on Puck. And I don't think Puck knows he's here. There was no ward up top, so it's possible the Dragon Knight may have an advantage here. Puck does end up getting entangled there by the bear. It takes an absolutely ton of damage from Dragon Knight's Breath of Fire. Pops in, and they do end up getting the kill. And Puck will take a trip back to the well. Another fight happening for the Radiant. I don't know if they're going to be able to win these fights. They're not. Thus far, they haven't really been doing too good of a job in controlling it. A lot of that due to Bane picking up the Enfeeble ability and just completely destroying the amount of damage that Lifestealer is able to do. And you notice here, actually, Lifestealer had to run. Lifestealer tries to come back in, get a kill on either Slardar or the Treant Protector, both of whom were incredibly low, but not able to actually convert that to any sort of kill whatsoever. And the Dire team now up significantly. And looks as if somebody else just died too. I think it was the Shadow Demon. Walked into a precarious situation, found himself murdered as well. So just taking a quick look at that gold graph, and yeah, I mean, look at that. This is just a couple of minutes ago. We're at 741 right now. So not but a minute ago, we had the Radiant in favor with a little bit more of those creep kills, but it doesn't matter. The Dire is able to actually work together and get some of those hero kills, those champion kills, granting them a significant boost. They're now over 1,000 without any towers down. So, looking at the experience graph, yeah, it's more of the same. In fact, it's a huge dip in the Dire side, reaching almost down to 2,500. So, a significant experience advantage now for the Dire side in shutting down, especially those top players. Dragon Knight once again doing a very good job picking up those runes. Now he may be running into a very dangerous situation here. Looks as if the Radiant does have a ward here, so they are aware that he's in the jungle right now. And I don't think he knows that he's surrounded. Lone Druid comes in to see if he can assist.
How about that?
And wow, Shadow Demon just dropping really fast. Again, not having any sort of items to really help him out. took a lot of damage, whereas Lone Druid, you'll notice, is quite beefy, especially when he's in his bear form right now. And I think we're going to see a... oh, he's able to pop out. I told you about that blink, but it doesn't matter. The range kill, ran out of mana, and that range kill from the Dragon Knight while in Dragon form was able to finish the job. So...
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
Looks as if there was another fight up top. Slardar is in a significant amount of trouble here, as well as Treant Protector, both of them taking a lot of damage from a combination of Lion, Shadow Demon, and Lifestealer.
Radiant's mid tower could use a
And
hand.
Slardar and Treant Protector both finally drop up in that top lane.
Radiant's mid tower.
I'm going to go through and take a look at some items. Lifestealer with an interesting choice for Lifestealer, picking up an Orb of Venom. I guess to help him maybe get a little bit of slow and some extra damage out. Not necessarily a poor choice, but I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily something I would go on with him. I think attack speed's always probably a better thing to snag. He's also, this is one of those things that I think it's kind of debated. You know, you're only getting a 1% increase in his feast, so probably always better to pick up that rage so that you're at, have a longer duration on your free BKB, basically. He also picked up the phase boots, not something I would do. I talked about this last night. I don't see the advantage of being able to rush somebody. I think that people do that maybe because they are able to get ganks better, but you know, a Lifestealer with the proper support shouldn't need those Facebooks, or phase boots, not Facebooks. Goodness gracious. Where did the Facebooks line come from? That's just silly. Slardar, pretty typical build, rushing those power treads. Treant Protector, he's got a pair of boots, doesn't really have a ton of money, probably just trying to let Slardar get that farm. Lion's kind of in the same situation. Shadow Demon does have a pair of boots that he picked up. Dragon Knight trying to give himself a little bit of extra mana here by converting his boots over. He picked up a Claymore. I'm wondering if he's going to go for the Battle Fury with that Claymore. We'll see. Guessing that that's what he's probably going for, but the second item choice will be the telling thing here. And this right here, there's that living armor that I'm talking about with Treant Protector. Just an awesome ability. Haven't seen him really cast it yet on the tower, but it is one of those things that you can do. And give it a little bit of extra regen, heal your towers up. It can be a very, very frustrating game. Storm Spirit picking up a double damage rune and heading up top. He is getting ready to put some hurting on. I think, however, yep, it looks as if the Dire side is well aware of the fact that Storm Spirit was heading up there. And Storm Spirit may have popped that double damage a bit too soon. In a case like this, and this is more advanced play, if you haven't played a lot of Dota, you may not know that this is the case, but you don't necessarily want to use those runes right off the bat when you pick them up from the river, because that river area is quite typically good players are going to have wards out. They can watch you and they'll know that they're there. Great stun by Slardar there, popping out his Slytherin Crush, slamming the ground, and making it so that Storm Spirit's not able to actually use his crown control to pull him back into a precarious position. And we've got a little bit of a dance going on right now. Lion in a lot of trouble. I think we're going to see him drop very quickly. He was just completely separated from the rest of his team, who are more up towards hitting the tower. Now we've got Shadow Demon in a little bit of trouble. Puck comes in to join the fray, doing lots of damage to the Dire side. Not enough, though, as Storm Spirit drops to the Dire side as well. We do see a buyback from him. He's going to be heading top right now with the teleport. In the meantime, we notice Treant Protector falling, taking lots of damage there. Puck finally getting that kill off. Here comes Storm Spirit jumping in, but not really doing anything with it.
Gather round.
Huge finger of death there on Dragon Knight. Awesome play by Lion, just able to pop that out and absolutely decimate, and I mean decimate Dragon Knight. Put him into a position, had just a sliver of health left, they were able to finish him off, and that tower up top will drop. That will be the second tower that's dropped this game thus far. The bottom tower, of course, dropping very early on to Lone Druid and Dragon Knight. Just some superior play by them in that bottom lane. And this Lone Druid here, I mean, he's just been farming all game. He doesn't even necessarily really care what's going on top. May even see him drop this mid tower. I don't think that they're going to be able to get there in time, and none of them have teleports.
Now.
So yeah, you're definitely going to see this tower drop, even though they put up the
Radiant's mid
glyph.
tower is getting the what for.
They're now aware of the presence of the Radiant side over here, so we'll see if it's going to initiate a team fight. I don't think there's going to be one. These guys are just kind of hanging back for now. Probably a good plan. And good time to go check out the gold graph. There was kind of a nice fight there for the Radiant team. Yeah, you noticed they just kind of jumped back up. I think you're going to see this drop slightly because the tower dropped in mid. Kind of evened out that tower that the Radiant gained. But they did manage to secure 4 kills as opposed to the 3 that the Dire side had, and a couple of those kills were kills on people who had streak combos. So, as you know, with the new patch, they're getting a lot more money when they kill people who have kill streaks. So, encouraging aiming and gunning those players down. Lone Druid's Bear is in a little bit of trouble here. I don't think he's overly concerned. They're kind of just wasting some mana on it. Yeah, not really able to do anything from it. Once the Dire team got together, they were able to do a ton of damage. Lots of stuns being kicked out. And just kind of rocking the Radiant team there. Lifesteal in some trouble here. Look at this. He's like, I better get out of here. It's too late, my friend. And we may even see... Yep, we do. We're going to see the courier killed. And, ooh, what a shame. That's gotta hurt. Lots of money given now to the Dire. They got some awesome kills. I think I ended up with 4 kills there, so killed quite a few people. Yeah, look at that graph. I mean, this graph, again, not but a minute ago, was all the way up here, dropped down to nearly 5,000 gold difference for the Dire side. They're sitting at 2,000. They dropped 3,000 gold in a period of a minute. That's just how fast this game can turn. Experience side looking quite similar, nearly up to 7,500 experience difference. So some really solid play there. Lion in some trouble here. I think he's a little overextended for a lane that they were just in. Nightmare kicked out on Lion, and I think you're definitely going to see him drop here.
How about that?
It's not able to escape. There's no way that he was going to be able to get out of that. And this tower right now is entirely undefended. They, I think they're heading there, but they're kind of mostly messing around in the jungle. Travis is coming down here. Look at that. He's just walking down, but he's going to put himself into a nasty position if he's not too careful. Yep, they know where he's at now. Yeah, he's going to be able to get away, of course, with his ultimate. Just electrifying himself into that little ball and jumping out. Lifestealer sticking to himself, trying to get some more farm. Already picked up that armlet, so good choice on him. Benefits on retreat. Man, look how much damage Dragon Knight and that bear just alone are doing to that tower. Huge amounts of damage.
Radiant's bottom tower's done for.
Dragon Knight had a double damage rune and had bottled it. Popped it on that tower, and just not much of that tower left there. And we've got a Roshan going on. And do we have any runes here? We do not. So we don't, not runes, I'm sorry. The wards here. We don't have a ward out for the Radiant team, so they have no idea that this is happening right now. They don't know that Roche is about to drop,
Roche won't be coming back for a
and
while.
that's just going to secure
Dyer's top
this
tower's getting beat
mid-game
down.
lead by the Dire side even more. Gold graph just continues to drop. If you recall, not but 2 minutes ago now, 2 or 3 minutes ago, this was all the way up here. You know, Radiant team coming back and had some awesome kills, and they just kind of lost that. They lost that gusto. Blink dagger purchased by Puck. Aegis going to Slardar here, and Lifestealer is gunning him down. Decides
That's four in a
may
row.
not be the best
How
thing for
about
him to
that?
do. Turns around, Lion putting himself once again completely overextended, and that middle lane, really bad position, really bad positioning for him.
Radiant's top
His
tower
team is
in
nowhere
bad
in
shape.
sight, and this is we talked a little bit last night. Slardar comes in here, gets a slithering crush out on Storm Spirit, who is completely unable to get away. Another player who was just completely far and away from the rest of his team. So we talked a little bit last night, and this is going to be a common theme with the advice that I give to you as you play. But we talked a little bit about defensive playing. And I think that that's what you're seeing now. You're not seeing a lot of defensive playing by the Radiant side. Now, let me make something clear. I truly believe that when you're down and out, when you're even at, like right now it's 8 to 18, but if you're 8 and 12, like they were 8 and 11 there for a while, 8 and 11, if you're 8 and 12, 8 and 14, whatever, you do have a chance to actually come back from these games and convert them if you're able to get solid kills without dying yourself. Stun getting kicked out right now on Puck. Dragon Breath comes in. Dragon Knight was invisible there entirely. Did a ton of damage. However, to Dragon Knight, he popped in and Lifestealer just came in and ripped him a new one. So, see, this is what I'm talking about. If you have fights with your team that are intelligent fights, you are able to get some solid kills. A Slardar drop there as well. I mean, this was a four-person team kill that the Radiant team was able to get out when they're significantly behind in experience and in gold. And a lot of that is due to them playing together and punishing cocky gameplay. Cocky gameplay, of course, is when you know that you're ahead, you notice that you have lots of kills, and you know, if you make sure that they can't get these 4 kills that just happened here, you know, get the 3 kills that you need and then get out of the fight, or just make sure that you can get those kills earlier, the Radiant team may have been in a much better position earlier on. And a lot of that gameplay is going to be Lion, for instance, not walking around and overextending himself in lanes when he has no backup. Some more of that is going to be Storm Spirit doing the same thing, not hanging around in the jungle when they know that people are just down bottom. They were aware that people were in this lane. I mean, you have to be. You have to be because that tower just dropped, Lion had just died. It's a bad position to be in. You don't have any vision, you don't know where your enemy team is. There's no point in being in that jungle. Yeah, you're not getting farmed, but if you're waiting for them to overextend, you're going to find yourself in a much better position to get some really good kills. And, you know, that's what happened here early on. Lifestealer popped out some really great kills. If the Radiant team, or excuse me, if the Dire team didn't have that Aegis and Slardar, the Radiant would have won that and would have pushed a tower. That goes back to warding on Roshan, too. So, having those wards out obviously can completely change the gameplay for your the enemy team if you're able to get the drop on them. So, some wards now going out by Lion. That's good. Radiant's going to have a little bit of vision on who's entering into that particular area. Still only 1 tower down by the Radiant side. Dire, however, have significant advantage with 5 towers down. That alone is a 5,000 gold advantage that they have, or I guess you could say a 4,000 gold advantage. Overall, they're now up to a 12,000 overall gold advantage. I mean, and that's pretty extreme. Experience bar and experience graph is looking almost the same thing, down to 14,000. And I mean, this is the story right here for Lion. 0 and 6. Lots and lots of deaths on Lion's part. So take a look here. Nice little last hits and denies. Two top players have both the most denies and the most kills on creeps. That's kind of cool to look at. Lone Druid looks as if he's saving up for something there. And yeah, Dire Side just completely slamming that net worth scale. I think only Treant Protector the support is low. So Slugger may be in some trouble here. Not before he's gonna get that kill on Buck though. And Lion missing his ground slam, that Earth Spike ability, not hitting anybody with it. And the fight's gonna go on here. Lion slammed again by Slithering Crush and then killed very quickly by right-click melee attacks by Slardar. Shadow Demon putting himself into his own conversion, but not able to get away from Lone Druid and the amount of damage that his bear does. And Bane coming down here, popping out his ultimate, and Fiend's gripping that Lifestealer to death, putting him in a precarious position to just be slammed on by Slardar, who manages to get the kill on him. Only player left alive is Storm Spirit on the Radiant team, and I think we may see our first Tier 3 tower drop. Well, it depends. The Radiant team is coming up so fast. Oh, nope, GG's out, and Ta.net is disconnecting. Slammin' Salmon has won the game today, and a fairly sound victory, I must say. You know, the gameplay fell apart very quickly here for the Radiant team. I think they had a chance, but overextensions told the story for them. And you know, those strength characters, man, they can rip you a new one when you have a full intelligence team. You've got to be really careful as to your positioning, where you're moving your character, and where you're putting yourself. So, MVP of the game, that is a good question. I'm leaning towards Dragon Knight. I really liked his mid gameplay. I liked how he was putting it. You know, he went down to bottom and got a really good gank on Puck. I always love to see a Treant Protector, and he was of course doing a great job of supporting. But I think overall here I'm going to have to give it to Slardar. I think Slardar was just superior in getting a lot of those kills. He had some awesome early gameplay. Getting out of some really nasty situations. He had that one escape really early on that almost got a first blood against his team, and was able to change that and turn that around up top very quickly. So very solid play by Slardar, and capitalizing on the fact that he was getting that far up the top. And Darwin Award is most definitely going to Lion for this game. Lion just, he didn't have it in him. And you'll look here, gold per minute, incredibly low, wasn't really doing anything to get any sort of farm at all, wasn't part of a lot of kills. I mean, I guess he was in 9 assists. That's pretty significant when your team has 11 kills, so I stand corrected on that. But he just didn't do enough for me. I mean, he was overextending left and right. He overextended, I think, twice, once bottom and once top, and possibly a few other times. In the team fights, he was just dropping incredibly fast, not able to really do anything, even get a spell off. He was dying within a slithering crush. So wouldn't think that that's the best choice of a character maybe for that particular player. I noticed that he was kind of just wandering off without his team, and that's not something you ever want to do when you're playing a character who can die incredibly fast. I mean, Lion has no escapes. He has no natural escape besides using a Hex and then a stun, and then after that he's got about 8 or 9 seconds where he can take a ton of damage and just get beat on by other players because he can't really do anything. So the goal then is to not put yourself into those positions where you're going to die really fast. So anyway, some solid gameplay by the Dire team tonight, crushing the Radiant side, and just putting the ultimate hurting on them, really taking advantage of the Radiant team being down. They were catching them in their jungle, got a lot of really awesome kills, some great stun combinations by Dragon Knight mixed with some slithering crushes from Slardar, who was throwing those out and just perfection. It was beautiful to watch. And then once the Radiant team died, they dropped like 4 people or so in the jungle, going up and killing Roshan really fast. Fantastic. Great warding. They had wards everywhere that they needed to be able to see. For instance, when Storm Spirit picked up that double damage, and the Radiant side didn't have that same ward coverage and put themselves into some pretty nasty situations because of it. For instance, not even realizing that the Dire side had Roshan on the ropes there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed Team Night Fight Night tonight. I think that's the only one I'm going to do. I did do 2 last night, and I wanted to just pop in, get one single team game. Thank you for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. Please give us feedback as always if you listen to this cast. Want to hear it. What could we do better? What I did great? What I didn't do great? Anything like that. I know that the feed right now is not the best. That is something that will be changing, as I am not the typical driver. Our typical driver is out at E3 right now, having himself a blast. But worry not, we will be back and strong and up and at 'em with our typical feed next week as we jump into Titanic Tuesday. We should also have a couple videos coming out within the next week or two. Look for Quelling Blade, look for Stout Shield, and look for the Introduction to Dota. These are going to be some cool videos that you can send to people who are maybe new to the game and want to learn some of those basic items. We're eventually going to get into some of the strategy as well when we get into the Learn to Dota series, so it'll be a really good thing to do if you're a new player to watch those videos so that you can start gaining and cultivating those skills to be a better Dota player. And that's our goal. We want you to be a better Dota player. We don't want you to have these team games like this where you may get crushed as well. Instead, we want you to do the crushing. We want you to just be putting the hurting on people. So anyway, I hope that you guys have a fantastic night. Play some awesome Dota games, and I hope that you just have a fantastic day. So thanks again for joining us. This is Stainless Liz with the Canadian Dota League, and keep it real, folks. Keep it real.